Alright, and what is going on, everybody? Quancredible here to review Eden Zero Chapter 129, and this is essentially the end of the Foresta arc. Like, from here, we're definitely going to be, like, transitioning over. We do get a dope cover page with the Rutherfords. They're, like, Jin, especially, one of my favorites. Klein's cool, too. But into the chapter, right off of the bat, we do get to see Elsie, reaching out to the Eden Zero crew, just making sure everybody's good, kind of touching base to make sure everybody is, like, fine. And we get to see more of, like, just kind of how everybody feels afterwards. It's kind of funny because a lot of main characters will kind of be more upset about how they lost, like taking into consideration how Shiki got absolutely destroyed by Justice. But when Elsie's, kind of telling them how strong he actually is, Shiki's more so impressed. He's like, awesome. Like he's like just he is wowed at like how powerful he is. And I kind of just liked this small moment for Shiki in the beginning. And we also get like this like sketchy moment at the end with Laguna, how he's like he just seems overly brooding here. Like, I don't know if this is gonna set up for the next arc. Like, it's very possible that like what he's saying right here, like that he's gonna continue to like play the part of a man who has no goal. Like, I don't know if this is gonna set up for next arc to be like Laguna focus. I mean, it could potentially make sense. Like, obviously it might not be the main focus. It might be the exact same as how like Foresta was, where there's stuff going on pertaining to their search for Mother and all that, and like the Jin and Klein stuff happened on the back burner. It could be like that, where like the next arc will be more like Xenolith, maybe Shiki training related, and like Laguna's like actual story or plotline will be like on the back burner of that. It's just a possibility or something that I was thinking about. After that, we do get like this scene with like Witch and the little girl from the forest. I want to say her name is Aruna. Let me know if I'm pronouncing that wrong at all, but I'm pretty sure it's going to be pronounced Aruna. And it's basically her being really sad over her robot Mimi, who got absolutely obliterated on Foresta, which is really sad stuff. It was a good character moment for Witch, in my opinion. But at the same time, like this is very much so in Witch's character. Like, Witch is essentially like the den mother over essentially everybody on the Eden Zero. So like, I really did like that she was there to like console the little girl who was like really upset still about her friend being like dead essentially, and then her kind of relating it to their struggles with like Valkyrie. It was definitely a really nice touch. Now I will say I'm so curious to know what's going on with this girl, because I remember I was saying in my last review that this could be something similar to like with Elsie and the previous Eden Zero crew, where like Elsie just traveled with them, and like they're going to mirror that through this girl. So I don't know if this girl could potentially have some type of special background or special ability or something along those lines. It's definitely just a little, it's like odd. I don't know exactly what Masha was planning here, because it seems random and like arbitrary and something that could just be easily like glossed over. But I feel like she could be really important in some way. I don't have anything solid yet, but I have that kind of feeling. We do also get to see Xenolith again. One of the things I was thinking that kind of got answered in here is that this guy is a robot as of right now, so why was he not affected by the virus? And anyway, I got my answer to that. He was uploading himself onto a cloud, so he kind of wouldn't lose himself. Essentially, that's like the very shorthand version of it. So I was glad that kind of got answered for me as well. I do think it was really funny, like this little moment that like Hermit has where she's like in disbelief and she doesn't believe him. Like that little, like this panel right here of that face is like it's a really funny face to me for some reason. But we do get that Xenolith does have a very specific task for Shiki that we don't get to hear. So it's like, it's one of those things where like we can only speculate on what it is. Again, I feel like myself, as well as a lot of other people, are probably going to assume that the like thing he wants him to do is to stop Ziggy. Like, that would probably be the most obvious one, or it's definitely probably something relating to the gravity ether or the whole concept of like dark gravity, because he said that like Ziggy had fallen into the dark gravity a couple of chapters ago. So it could be something along those lines. Also, something I want to talk about really briefly is the circumstances of their meeting. Like, it's one of those things where I wonder, like, did Xenolith know that they were going to be on Foresta, or was Xenolith always on Foresta, or was it like some weird gravity concept thing? Because we saw, like, when he first got introduced, that he kind of has some degree of control over the concept of like attracting things or making things lighter. Like, he has some type of conceptual abilities when it comes to gravity. So I wonder, was it one of those things where like he just attracted Shiki's group to Foresta, which would be wild if he could do that. But I'm just very curious to know like his actual real circumstances for being on Foresta the moment he was. Because I highly doubt it was just like, oh yeah, he was just there. Like, that's not a good reason to me. But one of my favorite part of the chapter would be like this little interaction between Weiss and Jin. And like I really like this moment a lot because I can hear it playing out in my head. Like Weiss just walking up, like talking to Jin. Like when he greeted Jin, he was like, "Yo," and Jin just didn't say anything. Like cause Jin's like so concerned about Klein in this moment that he doesn't want to hear anything anybody has to say. But like once like Weiss brings up Mueller, it's like Jin like immediately snaps to, like he knows exactly what's going on. He's like, "Oh, this is why Klein's like all messed up. Like where is he at? I'm about to handle him." And like this is when Weiss like, "Yeah, I blew him up. Like I just blew him up." Which I don't want to get off topic, but we didn't get to see exactly what happened to Mueller. So it's like last we seen Hermit punched him. I really feel like he's still alive. Like I really like it. I don't want him to still be alive, but I really feel like he's still alive since all that happened was Hermit punched him in the end. Weiss did blow him up, which I feel like this was huge points for Weiss in Jin's book, because Jin's face after Weiss was like, "Yeah, we blew him to bits." He just looks like, for real, like he looks like absolutely shocked. But it was just like this little almost bridge of like understanding, because Weiss had been given like Jin, Klein, and Laguna kind of a like hard time just because he doesn't trust them. I mean, for good reason. They were enemies, but like this kind of moment like kind of brings them a little bit closer. And we do get Sister, emerging from the room to say that Klein's essentially better, more or less. So we do get to hear what she did, which is essentially like erase only part of her memories, more than likely concerning the parts of like Jin being chopped up, as well as like Draken like saving them, or quote unquote saving them. So like it's just weird with erasing parts of memory. So like I wonder, like, does Klein have memories all the way up of them getting captured, and just like it just goes blank, and then they just work for Drac and Joe? Like this is probably unimportant, but I'm just wondering like how does she remember these events? Because like they did work for Drac and Joe for a while, so like does she not remember the like circumstances of them working for Dragon? Like it's like I wonder how much her brother being like having cyborg parts, like would she know why, or like would she just always assume he did, or that he did it to himself? Like it's just, the whole thing is weird. It is dope to see her like being able to express herself, but like I feel like I'm probably the only one who's like this. But I feel like I'm gonna miss her not expressing herself. Like I feel like I'm gonna miss her not having emotions, because it's like a weird character trope, or not, I don't even know if that's a trope, an emotionless character. Like I kind of liked it. I like that because it was different. I don't think I had seen anything similar to that in like a while. But I am very interested to see how her character is going to be going forward, as well as I think this is really dope that as well as I am very curious to know like what's going to happen going forward with Jin and Klein, because obviously I personally want them to stay on the Eden Zero to like round out the crew more, as well as it's like weird because now they have no reason to stay here. Like the whole reason they were there was to get Sister to fix Klein. That was the entire reason of them being there. So like now it's like they technically don't have a reason to be there unless Klein just wants to stay, because obviously Jin's going to do whatever she wants to do. So if she wants to stay, then bam, they're going to be honorary members forever. But if she just wants to go off and do whatever she wants, then Jin's going to follow, obviously. So there's that. I also wonder what's Jin's relationship going to be with everybody going forward. Like I wonder, is he still going to be extremely sour? I feel like he is, just because that's his character. But I want more future interactions between all these guys. So it's just going to be interesting to see for sure. But that's the chapter. I enjoyed it a lot. I'd probably give it like, I give like a solid 7. We got lots of different parts here. It's a nice transitionary chapter. Definitely really curious to know what Xenolith is going to ask of Shiggy. Really want to know how the whole Jin situation is going to play out going forward. Overall, the Foresta arc was really dope. It was honestly, I want to say it was one of the better arcs. And it's like the Red Cave arc, it wasn't bad. I just enjoyed this one more. So yeah, let me know how you guys feel about the chapter down below. Let me know what you guys think Xenolith is possibly going to ask of Shiggy. And also, do you guys think Jin and Klein are going to stay, or do you guys think they're going to leave? I just want to know. Or do you guys just don't even care? Either way. But yes, aside from that, make sure you guys like the video, as well as sub to the channel for more Eden Zero content in the future. Make sure you guys enjoy the rest of your guys' day, and I will see you all in my next video.